Welcome again to the New Times. I'm Jade Natasha Iriza, and today I look more elegant and I feel more beautiful. You'll know soon enough why, because today I am with the amazing Elodie of the IZUBAA fashion house, and you've probably seen of some of her collection in the Chogam opening for the fashion show, and also you've seen probably her collection at the Youth Connect when Mashirika was performing. So today I have her at the New Times to discuss with us her journey and what she has as plans for the future, right?
Sure.
So let's get started. Okay, so Elodie, feel very welcomed, but I think you're the one to welcome us to your showroom.
Yeah, karibu. Welcome guys to IZUBAA.
Okay, so now tell us more about yourself. What's your name? What is your country of origin? Let us, our audience, know you.
Sure. So my name is Elodie Fromanteau. I'm half French, half Rwandese. I was born in Cameroon, grew up in France, and then moved to London when I was 20. Yeah.
So how has been the experience in, you know, all those countries and all that?
So I guess being born in Cameroon, you know, even though it was like the first 5 years of my life, you know, inspired me like in terms of the colors that were surrounding me. Then moving back to France, you know, even though it was a small town, the French kind of like identity that you see through my clothing is obviously from that background. And then London was quite big, you know, in terms of like creativity. There's so many people, so many different artists that you meet everywhere. At the time, I still didn't know, when I first moved in, I didn't know that I was going to be like a fashion stylist or a designer. But, you know, slowly but surely, I grew, I met people, and then I discovered that I loved fashion so much, and then I became a fashion stylist. You know, worked for like different magazines, models, and yeah, artists. So
how do you get yourself to Rwanda?
Okay, so it's been like a few years that I really wanted to come here, right? So the last time I came, it was like 22 years ago, which was ages ago. Obviously, I was a kid. I grew up being surrounded by a lot of French people, which is normal, you know, obviously. But yeah, I believe that Rwandan side was really missing, and I just wanted to reconnect with my roots and to know more of my culture. So yeah, I decided to come here end of 2021. It was more of a holiday thing. It was a one-trip ticket, but knowing that we'll come back like 3 months later. Yeah, I ended up staying.
You ended up staying.
Ended up staying and started my own, you know, fashion house. That was not part of the plan at all, but it just kind of made sense.
Okay.
You know?
What captured your heart here?
In the country?
Yeah, and you ended up staying.
That's such a good question. Wow, I feel like everything is hard to find. I don't know. I believe the culture. I think the culture is the one. But like as soon as I landed here, like I stepped, you know, outside the plane and I walked out the airport, I was like, I'm home. Do you know what I mean? So I felt like a sense of home within. I even cried. I was in quarantine, you know, you had to, at the time you had to stay like 24 hours in quarantine.
Yes.
And I, you know, I was in Milcolin. I went to the balcony, the sun was rising, I look at the horizons, you know, obviously the hills.
Yes.
And I started crying, and I was like, wow, this is so powerful. So, yeah, so I guess it started like this, and then, you know, people in the streets and the culture, the dance, you know. Yeah, everything.
So now your fashion house, IZUBAA, it's now like 1 year old.
Yeah, it's
right?
been a year, yeah.
Can you take us through the way you went and, you know, started it, how it has been, and how it is right now? But then first tell us, what does IZUBAA mean? Like, why the name? Okay, so IZUBAA, I believe it tells my story. So when I think about the sun, I think about the whole continent, about Africa, like the African sun. So it's like my journey back to Africa, back to the roots, you know, and it has like a sense of authenticity that I'm trying to like, how to say, be driven by, you know, even in my clothes. But also the sun is light, it shines, you know, I believe it's quite symbolic.
you know, follow the light, be the light.
Okay.
Yeah, be a good person. I don't know, it's a lot. It's
Okay,
a lot of
I
things.
see. I get what you mean. So now, tell us, how did you start it?
So how did I start? So it started over a phone call with a friend. And I was gonna call some designers for Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week back in June 2021. And I was on the phone with him. I was like, hey, are you coming? So he was staying in South Africa. I said, hey, are you coming? He was like, yeah, I might. And then he was like, but why you want to like be a stylist when you can actually have your own collection? You can start your own collection. And I was like, but I've never done this before. Like, how am I gonna be, you know, becoming from a stylist to a designer? It's a big thing, you know. It's obviously I'm in the fashion industry, but it's two different things. He was like, no, I think you can do it. And I was sort of like saying, you're crazy. He was like, no, you're crazy. So yeah, then the day after I woke up, first thing I did was calling the director of Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, Kigali. He told me that, you know, one of the designers just cancelled. So I felt like there was a sign. I felt like I had to do it.
Yes.
And yeah, and that day I literally stayed the whole day in my room, started sketching, putting together a mood board. I knew straight away how I wanted to, like, you know, kind of, I wanted the direction. So, you know, I knew I wanted to make suits oversized, like, you know, shoulder padded. Yay! Like colors. I wanted to mix my French background with the African, you know, and Rwandese, you know, that I'm feeling now. So yeah, that's how it started. I worked on it for like 2 weeks non-stop, like crazy, crazy, crazy. Then unfortunately, lockdown happened.
Yeah.
So I couldn't showcase. I was gutted, but I feel like somehow, you know, I stepped back and looked at what I did. And I felt like I could be better. So I took 4 pieces really from that collection. And then I presented it, like I launched it online in September. Wanted to see the reaction of people. It was a good reaction. And then the director offered me to go to Ghana in December last year. So I went. They asked me to open the show, which was crazy for my first fashion show. Yeah, and then, yeah, it was great. We did the campaign in Accra. You know, the vibes were incredible. The models were amazing, fantastic photographers. Yeah, Ghana was my first fashion show, but I have like, I always keep it in my heart, you know?
I get you.
And yeah, that was quite strong. And then I came back here, decided to obviously move to Rwanda officially. So I had to go back to London, took my stuff, come here. And then Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week finally happened back in May. Yeah. And then this happened, and then I was selected for Shogam Fashion Week. And they made me open the show again, which was so crazy, and I can't believe it. But yeah, it's been a beautiful year.
And your first collection's name was?
Journey to Africa.
Journey to Africa. What about, now you have 2, right?
Yeah, the new one is called Sunday Best.
Sunday Best. Is
Sunday
there
Best.
Any meaning behind the naming?
Yes, Sunday Best kind of like, first I was going to call it Take Me to Church, but I felt like maybe it was too literal. So I don't know, like there's something about, you know, like Sunday best, you know, you want to put on your best clothing for Sunday, right? So obviously it has this kind of church vibe that I kind of got closer, you know, ever since I'm here.
Okay. And just for our audiences, this is one of her second collection.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel ready to go to church.
Right? You look amazing.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, you do.
So now, tell us, take us through the process of selecting your fabrics. Like, what is the thought behind it? How do you know? You said something that you already knew what you wanted to do, oversized suits and all that. Like, take us through the process. Is there times you feel blocked, for example? Like, take us through the whole process.
I mean, like I said, you know, when I started, you know, IZUBAA, like I felt like the vision was strong. I felt like also, I thought about, you know, the designers here. And if you look around, nobody's doing suits for women, you know. And like, they might have few ones, but it's not like, you know, that's not what they do. And especially oversized, right?
But why oversized?
Because I think it's cool. I think it's cool, and I also the 90s. I feel like the 90s is quite strong in my aesthetics. So like, okay, so when I grew up, right, back in the 90s, My mother, you know, she'll be dressed like even late 80s, you know. It's very much like oversized shoulders, you know, like belts on the waist. It's very elegant, you know. And then the Fresh Prince as well was an inspiration. I was watching so many, like most of us, I believe. You know, so yeah, I think that aesthetics was quite strong, and I knew it from the beginning. Don't ask me why, it was just here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you are a fashion designer, what's your favorite part about being one?
Expressing my creativity through clothing, telling a story. Fashion shows are amazing. I love doing fashion shows, campaigns. I mean, meeting with, like, you know, artists, different creatives. Yeah, I feel like you keep on, you know, expanding your creativity. So yeah, it's inspiring. Okay,
okay. So now, what type of fashion do you enjoy the most? Do you get the question?
What type of fashion? High fashion.
Oh, okay.
High fashion. Yeah.
So now, is there like any design influences that you have? Yeah, of course, except from your background and what you want to try to have a position in this place. But then, is there any other design influences, like people or future aspirations?
Yeah, I feel like, okay, the first one that comes to my mind is Virgil Abloh, you know, who passed away last year. But I felt like he was such an inspiration for like so many designers and artists. You know, I think what he did was amazing, coming from like a street background and taking to like the high fashion, you know, and opening so many doors for so many people. I mean, when he was like the director of Louis Vuitton, menswear Louis Vuitton, what he did was like incredible, you know, between the patterns, the colors, the street and high fashion mixed together. I think it was genius. So yeah, he's my biggest, I think, inspiration now. Okay.
So is there any other favorite brand that you have locally?
In here?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yes, I would say maybe Rwanda's clothing might be one of my favorite.
Made in Rwanda?
Yeah, Rwanda's clothing.
Rwanda's clothing. Oh, okay, okay, the brand.
The brand was Rwanda's clothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like what they do. There's some nice pieces there with like African prints as well, and you know, some very elegant gowns and.
True.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
And is there any other favorite designer who's still alive?
Jacques Mu. Jacques Mu is pretty good. He's French.
I
gotta name a French guy. And I also, I love what he does. He's quite soft, romantic. You know, I love he's quite youthful in the way he's playing. You know, and I love the homage that he does to his mother. I love like his fashion shows, you know, in like, how do you say, Provence fields.
Yes.
You know, yeah, he's good. He's great.
So do you think there are any like ethics that a fashion designer should have, like qualities that they should?
What it takes to be a designer?
A good one.
A good one. Courage. You have to be courageous, I think, in a sense that, you know, you have to go for it, you know. If you have a passion, you know, if you're passionate about something, you have to like
go for it.
Go for it. So be courageous. Even if you hear no, you have to keep on going, you know. Have faith in what you do. Be patient, because, you know, it's not always gonna happen quick. It can, but I think you have to be patient at the beginning, you know. And I don't know. Yeah, courageous. What did I say? Patient, creative, obviously. But yeah, even with like creativity, I think it's important to like be patient. Like these weeks, maybe you don't feel like inspired, and it's okay, right? Like for me, I found it good when I started like, you know, watching, you know, just doing different things. Like, I don't know, painting, I could be painting, watching movies that inspired me, you know, just keep on like doing different things. That,
You said something about even when they say no. Have you ever had some no's so far?
I must have.
You must have any that comes to
I must have. I think back in London, here I've been quite blessed, you know. But in London, I must have had some no's. I don't have really an example right now. But
okay, but challenges generally.
Okay, challenges. Challenges, yes. Tailors. When it comes to tailors, here I found it quite difficult. So I found them straight away. So there's, you know, one that works like on the jacket. You know, he's very good with the jacket. Well, he started with the whole suit. But then I had to find others, right, to like split the work. So it goes faster and is more efficient. But yeah, so one does jackets, one does trousers, then I have like, you know, dresses and shirts. But sometimes the communication, so I don't really speak Kinyarwanda yet. I'm sorry. I will be speaking. I am. It's just quite difficult.
Okay.
You know, it's very different from everything that I've done before. Do you know what I mean?
How many languages do you speak?
French and English.
Okay.
Yeah. Can understand Spanish, maybe. You know, can pretend to speak a little bit. But yeah. So anyway, so the barrier of language, I think is something, even though I have, you know, translator, someone who's always there, Mama Victor, who's always, you know, translating. But, you know, what is the most difficult is the timing. So when you tell them I need that because I'm going to have a fashion show, that, you know, that date, and they're like, yeah, sure, Nakibazo. It's never Nakibazo. You come on the day, and even I go there the day before to check on, you know, what's going on. And then they like tell me, I'm like, it's just a sleeve. And, you know, this has to be done tomorrow morning. And they keep on saying, don't worry. And then I come and it's like, and it's not finished, and I go a bit crazy. So, you know, patience. Right. Meditation, prayers. Oh yeah, this helps. Okay.
So, well, what are your thoughts on the Rwandan fashion industry as a whole?
I'm excited.
You're excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I feel like it's the right time to be here. Yeah, I feel like designers are really embracing more and more creativity and fashion. And yeah, I feel like there's so many up-and-coming designers and artists. You know, I feel like it's the right place to be at, like right now, literally.
All right,
so I'm excited about the future.
But my point is, like, you see, the fashion industry, there is a lot of people that are designers, models, there are a lot of people. So what is your message to these people who, of course, they need courage, they need to face it when they even say no, right? But then what takes them to that place where they, you know, surmount all that pressure, and especially in this growing industry in this country, we can't say we have reached there, right? We still have a lot of things to do.
For sure. I think that's why it's exciting, because it's at the beginning, even though it started obviously before me, but I feel like now there's just more and more people doing it. So what I would say, what I would advise is actually focus. Like, okay, once you find what you're good at, right? Once you find your craft, focus on it, get better, be curious. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Stay curious, be curious, ask people around, you know, don't be shy.
Yes.
You know, we're all the same. At the end of the day, we're all like trying to, you know, make something. Yeah, stay focused, curious, and go for it. Like, if it's your passion, and you will feel the energy coming through, right? So just keep on being focused.
Tell us, like, the pricing, where they can find the pieces of your collection. How do you sell it? Where can people find it? And then we close this. Okay, so far, I have this showroom, obviously, you know, here. Where they don't know.
In Kachiru. I'm in Kachiru. You find the address on the website, IZUBAA.com, IZUBAA.com. So you can shop there directly. You can get an appointment with me. So I do like styling appointments. So you come to the showroom, I show you around, you can try some pieces, then I take your measure. So we do made to measure, right? So I take your measure, and then I go get the fabrics, and then we get, you know, the piece for you the following day or 2 days later. You have it. Okay. And then when it comes in terms of the prices, the range is between for a suit, a full suit, between $250 or $220 to $275. Yeah. Okay. But you didn't tell them they can also find you on social medias. Sorry, I'm also on social media, of course. Okay. IZU.BA, IZU.BAA. Instagram, that's where you find me a lot. Okay. Yeah. Now, you said that you tell some people. You want to
state some examples?
Yeah. I've been styling Malaika Wamaholo, the amazing Malaika who I adore. Beautiful artist, beautiful person. Yeah, so I started her for the Buhanzi. She was one of the judges back in August. And then I styled Somi, an incredible jazz, you know, jazz singer, songwriter who has just been nominated for the Grammy Awards. I styled her and I art directed last year for her new album, Dreaming Zanzile. Yeah.
All right, and Jade.
And Jade!
any final thoughts?
And you, any final thoughts? Thank you for coming here. I think we're good. Are you good?
Yeah.
You have more questions?
No. I'm like, any final thought, like you would want to, any final message, any final, you know, let's close this.
I can't wait to meet all the creatives here, you know. I can't wait to do collaboration. I can't wait to keep on expanding my art and, you know, the fusion as well, you know, of art between fashion, music, painting. There's so much to explore here and I'm excited.
Okay, and I'm also excited to put on more Rwandan fabricated clothes,
yes, please.
Right? And so that's why we are very excited to see the Rwandan industry, the Rwandan fashion industry growing, and it goes in hand with the Made in Rwanda, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you guys for staying tuned to this conversation, and thank you.
Thank you.